welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really zeroing in on something lots of you are focused on: getting better at speaking English.
Yeah, it can definitely feel like a challenge sometimes.
It really can. But the good news is, improvement is totally possible.
Absolutely. And our mission for this deep dive is to pull out some, really practical, actionable tips for you.
We've been looking at some interesting material, specifically some conversational stuff from English Podcast Studio about language learning techniques.
That's right. We want to distill the best strategies from that to help you improve your spoken English.
Okay, so let's dive right in. One of the first big things that jumped out was this idea of daily practice, even just for a few minutes. It's not about those marathon study sessions that just leave you feeling, well, fried, right?
Exactly. And what's key here, I think, is why that works. Short, regular bursts, maybe 5-10 minutes a day, that really aligns with how our brains actually learn and remember things.
Like spaced repetition, sort of?
Precisely. Those little bits of practice, done consistently, help move things into your long-term memory much more effectively.
That makes sense. And the suggestions were pretty simple too, like just talking about your day out loud.
Yeah, or describing things you see. In English, obviously.
It almost sounds too simple, doesn't it?
But it's that simplicity that makes it doable. And these small, consistent actions, they really build up your fluency and vocabulary over time.
And your confidence too, I imagine.
Definitely. You get more comfortable just using the language, even in these basic ways.
Okay, so consistency is key. Another major point seemed to be the link between listening and speaking. They're really connected.
Oh, absolutely fundamental. It's not just passive background noise.
Right. You have to actively listen.
Yes. When you listen carefully to native speakers, you start absorbing the rhythm, the intonation, how words are stressed.
The music of the language.
That's a great way to put it. It helps you understand not just what is said, but how it's said naturally.
Which leads into imitation, right?
Yeah.
Actually repeating what you hear.
The sources suggest really trying to match the speaker's tone and their speed.
So like being a bit of an actor.
Kind of. Think of it like vocal training. You're training your mouth, your vocal cords, to make these English sounds and patterns. Start simple, maybe just short sentences.
And build up from there.
Exactly. Increase the complexity as you get more comfortable.
Now, they mentioned a specific technique too. Shadowing. That sounds like a more intense version of imitation.
It is, yeah. Shadowing is where you repeat what someone says almost immediately after you hear them, like right on their heels.
Wow. Yeah.
And the benefit isn't just pronunciation, though that's a big part of it. It really helps you internalize sentence structure and get used to the natural flow of English.
So your brain and mouth are trying to sync up in real time.
Pretty much. It forces you to process and produce language very quickly.
And the tip to shadow actors or news anchors. That makes sense for clarity.
Definitely. You want a clear model, especially when you're starting out with shadowing. It makes it easier to pick up the nuances.
Okay, moving on. Vocabulary. The point made was that just knowing words isn't enough. Context is crucial.
Oh, absolutely. Memorizing lists.
Yeah.
It has its limits, doesn't it?
Totally. You know the word, but then using it, blank.
Right. But learning a word within a phrase, like the example, hello, how are you, for the word greet, that shows you how the word works in a real sentence. It gives you the grammar, the usage, everything. Makes it much easier to remember and actually use.
So you see it in its natural habitat.
Exactly. And then the crucial next step is actively using that new vocabulary yourself.
Right, putting it into practice.
Yeah. Just knowing it passively isn't the same as being able to pull it out when you're speaking. Practice reinforces it, makes it automatic.
Got it. Now, something I think will resonate with a lot of people: mistakes. The idea of reframing them.
Not as failures, but as opportunities.
Because that fear of making mistakes can be really paralyzing, can't it?
It really can. But the source material frames it perfectly. Mistakes are just feedback. They show you where you need a bit more work.
So fluency comes from practice, not from being perfect right away.
Exactly. Nobody starts out perfect. You have to stumble a bit. It's part of the process.
So the advice is basically cut yourself some slack and just speak.
Pretty much. Speak confidently, even with imperfections. That's how you improve and sound more natural over time.
Which ties into another point: prioritizing fluency over absolute perfection.
Yes. Getting bogged down in trying to make every sentence grammatically flawless, that can really slow you down.
And make you sound hesitant, maybe.
Definitely. Fluency is really about effective communication. Can people understand you? Are your sentences flowing reasonably well?
So it's about the message getting across smoothly.
Right. Don't obsess over every tiny grammar rule, especially at first. Focus on getting comfortable with speaking continuously. The finer points of grammar often improve naturally with more practice and exposure anyway.
That's really encouraging. Another practical idea was integrating English into daily life, not just study time.
Yeah, creating that immersive environment for yourself, even if you're not living abroad.
How, though? Like, what are some examples?
Well, the sources mention things like, trying to think in English during everyday tasks.
Like narrating what you're doing.
Yeah. Or mentally phrasing things in English, like what you'd say at the shops or while you're cooking.
Okay, so making it less like a subject and more like a tool you're actually using.
Exactly. When you use it in these real life, even mental contexts, it becomes more natural, more integrated into how you think.
And inevitably, that leads to the need for actual conversations.
Right.
Talking with people.
Absolutely critical. All the self-practice is great, but real conversation is where it all comes together.
Because you have to think on your feet.
You do. You have to listen, process, respond. It's dynamic. The source suggested starting small, maybe with basic small talk.
Less pressure that way.
Exactly. And again, remembering that mistakes are okay. They will happen in conversation.
The main goal is just having the conversation, practicing regularly.
Yes, and pushing yourself just a little bit each time. That's where the real improvement happens.
Okay. And finally, this all feeds into confidence, doesn't it? Building that up.
It really does. Confidence isn't something you just suddenly get. It's built brick by brick through consistent effort.
Like strengthening a muscle.
That's a perfect analogy. Every time you practice, every conversation you have, you're strengthening that confidence muscle. The sources even mention simple things like practicing in front of a mirror.
Just to get used to seeing and hearing yourself speak English.
Exactly. It helps build that comfort level. Over time, with that consistent use, speaking starts to feel more natural, more confident.
Okay, wow. So just to kind of wrap up the key things we've pulled out.
Yeah, let's recap.
It seems to boil down to consistent daily practice, even short bursts, harnessing listening and imitation, maybe even trying shadowing.
Learning vocabulary in context, not just lists.
Right. And crucially, embracing mistakes as part of learning. Don't let them stop you.
Focus on fluency, clear communication over getting every single grammar point perfect right away.
Find ways to weave English into your everyday thoughts and activities.
Definitely. And seek out those real conversations, starting simple if needed.
And remember that confidence grows directly from all that consistent effort.
That really covers the core strategies, I think. Very practical stuff.
Absolutely. So here's something for you, the listener, to think about. Pick just one, maybe two of these techniques we discussed. Whichever one feels most doable for you right now.
Yeah, don't try to do everything at once.
Exactly. Just choose one or two and really commit to incorporating them into your routine this coming week. See what happens.
Pay attention to how you feel if your confidence shifts even a little.
And maybe ask yourself, where in my day is the easiest, most natural place to start practicing English a bit more intentionally? Is it during your commute? While making dinner? Find that slot.
Small, consistent actions can really add up. Good luck with it.